Good morning. Let's continue the girl time talk about how to turn on a woman. This is for the guys too. Come here, come here, come here. All right. I'm remaking this video because I gave too many details before and I don't want to do that. So I made a video yesterday about an encounter I had with a gentleman where I was super turned on and I don't really know what he did or how he did it. And I've been thinking about it because I want to be able to get turned on a lot with all the men that I'm with. And I want to be able to communicate to you what those factors were because you might find it interesting and you might find it helpful. Especially if you're a man trying to turn on a woman, or you're a woman struggling to get turned on for your boyfriend or your husband, or you think you lost your libido. A lot of it has to do with the context, with the mindset, and the situation, and the guy's energy level. All right. So this gentleman who really got me turned on, he wasn't a calendar model. He didn't have the biggest cock in the world, and I didn't have feelings for him, and I didn't have an orgasm. But I got super turned on. What he had was respect for me, so he wasn't trying to overpower me. I felt very safe, and he had a hunger for me. It wasn't that I was ovulating. I don't ovulate anymore. I'm in menopause, so I think my hormones are always level, but I don't know. And I wasn't turned on when he got there. I was trying to figure out how to get turned on because I'd made a video before saying, I don't get turned on anymore. I'm having trouble getting turned on for these guys. What am I going to do? How am I going to get myself turned on? I'm struggling to get turned on from my appointments. And I was in that same state when he got there. Now, my mindset, I was a little bit excited because it was a 30-minute appointment, and for me, my mindset on the longer appointments has been, oh my God, I've got to spend an hour with this guy. I've got to be turned on for an hour. How am I going to be turned on for an hour? But with this person, I knew it was just a half hour and it would be easier to be turned on for a half hour. So mindset. I didn't start out in the living room trying to get acquainted, And in the living room, a lot of things can go wrong because the guy can just lean back or sit far away from me, and I get turned on by their hunger and their interest. A man's calm aggression, inwardly calm, but yet aggressive and hungry for me. That I have found with other clients was the best combination to get me really excited. Because if you're nervous, now I have to take care of you and I have to calm you down and get you turned on, and I can't let go and really enjoy myself because I'm responsible for you. Anything that happens where I'm responsible for you is going to lower my arousal because now I'm a caretaker. I have to, and it's fine with my clients. I'm just saying how, there's an impact on my arousal. If I have to caretake you to help you calm down because you're nervous, or if you're just leaning back on the sofa all relaxed, you're not engaged with me, you seem disinterested, so I'm not turned on. If you just lay there in bed because you're fat and I have to do all the work, I'm not as turned on. So the things that you do, the more you can be, you have to be empathetic and know there's a woman there who has feelings, okay? And the more you bring out your sexual energy and aggression, the more I'm going to respond. And be hard. If you're struggling, if you're all preoccupied with making your dick hard, you're more interested in you're more occupied with your dick than with me, I'm not going to get turned on. I want to feel your hunger. That's your calm hunger. That's what it is. And it wasn't because I was ovulating, because I don't. It wasn't his pheromones, because I felt nothing for him. Even when he was right next to me, I felt nothing till he started touching me, and his hunger was so apparent. but his hunger wasn't in a way that I felt unsafe or threatened, physically threatened. I didn't have an orgasm. I didn't care, because for me, and I've read this before for women, it's about how turned on can I get? What adventure will you take me on? A man's coming to have sex because he wants a release. I don't need a release from you, okay? Okay, buddy, unless you're my boyfriend, I don't really care. I don't need the release from you. I can masturbate for that. But what I can't do is go on this adventure of arousal and have this male energy take me over and take me on an adventure. Like, dominate me. Like, I want to surrender. I want to see what I can experience in our dance together. And when they leave, I don't masturbate. Like, it's not about that. It's not about, I love feeling a man's hunger for me. Yes, I do. That's what I like. And so, yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was, his hunger. And that's where a lot of men struggle. They're either preoccupied with their, it's very rare that I get a guy who's preoccupied with his penis and forgets that I'm even there, like guys who watch too much porn. So this guy was very aware that I was there, and he was very respectful. So if I said not to, this, adjusting this or this, any requests I made, he immediately respected and honored. But he was in touch with his own hunger, and a lot of guys are not. They're ashamed of their sexuality, or they think they're going to hurt me by being aggressive. Their sexual aggression is something they try to squelch or push down. But the more I feel your sexual aggression and hunger, the more I will get turned on. Sexual aggression tempered with calmness and empathy for me. And that's why there was a client I had years ago. God, I wish I would see him again. He is so great, this African-American gentleman. And he was so good in bed. Oh my God. And we talked about it afterward, and he was very calm, but very sexual. So he was sensual and very sexual, very comfortable with his sexuality. Men who are comfortable with their sexuality always get me turned on, even when they're super ugly or fat. And I've had other providers on Twitter, share about that. Like, sometimes the fattest, ugliest guys will give you the best sex. They're just comfortable with their sexuality. That's what it is. It's not about pheromones. And I will also say that what makes the sex good for me too is a man who it doesn't just lay there. I've had I like that better when I don't like it when they kiss me a lot and they have a lot of saliva in their mouth. I hate that. I'm going to have to figure out how to communicate that a little bit, because that's kind of a turn off. When they need to kiss me a lot and they're needy. I don't like it when they're needy in bed and they need a lot of kissing, because now I have to caretake you, and I'm afraid if I stop kissing you because your mouth is full of spit, that you will lose your arousal because you don't feel desired. I have to caretake you. If you're super chubby, you can't support your own weight by being in the missionary position. I have to caretake you, and that's kind of a turn off. So let's put this all together. A man who can take care of his own sexuality. He can be on top. He can thrust on top. He can carry his own fucking weight. So many guys are overweight. Did you know that I think 75% of American children are overweight or obese? Or 50%? I don't know. A lot of Americans are overweight or obese, and they can't support their own weight. So they need the woman to be on top, doing all the work. To me, that is not attractive. Some women like that, because I know men like that. I see men like that with women, with beautiful women. I like a guy who's got good energy. So for me personally, I like a man who's strong enough, who can thrust on top. Now, I've had really great sex with guys. Even the guy I had a strong crush on in October, he had good plank, but a lot of these guys have bellies. I don't give a shit. You do not need six-pack abs, but you need to be able to support your weight in a plank position, and so that you can move around in bed and you don't have to make the woman do all the work. Because now I feel like I have to take care of you. And I actually notice for myself, I get more turned on when the man is doing more of the fucking. Because, see, when I'm moving, I hope this isn't too explicit for YouTube, but when I'm moving, my awareness is in my body, and I'm thinking about, being in a good plank position. I don't want to hurt my hips. I'm thinking about moving, and a lot of my blood flow is going into my legs and my movement. But when the guy is doing all the moving, my entire awareness goes to where he's moving and where I feel those sensations. And that lets me, I feel that part of my body relax and open more. Okay? Now, I know a lot of women like riding on top. Sometimes I like that too. I sometimes like that too, depending on how I'm moving. I sometimes like that too. And I should make a video about sexual positions. I will do it in like yoga clothes, not too stimulating or anything, just to kind of show you what positions might be good so you don't hurt your hips, ladies, because we're always having to like have our legs apart, and having a lot of weight on the hips with our legs apart like a triangle can cause hip pain. And the guys always have their legs together. They're always hip width apart with their feet and with their legs. So from Pilates, I know if you're putting a lot of weight on your legs, you have to be in a proper position and support yourself with your lats, your core, and your abdominal core. Anyway, when I go, so what I need, being calm and energetic, like not afraid, nervous, or lean back, relax. Sometimes I have guys come over and they just lean back, relax, and I'm like, now I feel like I want to take a nap. Like, if they come and they're like energetic and hungry and relaxed, we're off to a good start. Because it's the energy. Calm, in touch with your sexual aggression. You ask for what you want. You're not afraid that you're going to hurt some woman. You're not withholding your sexual energy or the things you want to do. I've had guys be like, hey, I want you to pee on me while we're fucking. It's like, that's so hot. You know how rare it is for a guy to say something like that? Or, lick my, wah, wah, wah. It's so rare for a man to ask for that. And now I'm just talking about men who are kind and gentle and respectful. I'm not talking about some rude guy coming along that's all stinky wanting me to do stuff. These men the men I'm talking about, they're respectful. I feel safe. They're freshly showered and they're decently dressed. So that's already a basic. It's daytime. I feel safe. I feel physically, mentally, and emotionally safe. They're clean. There's nothing repulsive about them. We haven't had a fight. Okay, so there's already a positive space. Then if they're calm, energetic, sexually hungry, and in decent physical shape enough that they can support their own weight, I think those are the factors for me. I think that's what I need. And the way that men don't feel nervous is because they just experience with a lot of women. The more The men that are nervous are often men that haven't done this very often. Although I will say that I have had people come over who were virgins who seemed perfectly calm. Yeah. I'm always in awe of men who know how to do all this because um, they're kind of in the minority, I will say. And notice I didn't talk about, you know, he gave me an orgasm. That's not going to impress me. A guy giving me an orgasm doesn't impress me because it just doesn't. Now, if I were dating someone, I absolutely want him to care about my pleasure and giving me orgasms. But here's another interesting thing I will share with you that I realized recently. All those guys I hooked up with, I read about in my book, The Fuck List, and many of them that I fell for, the limerence thing we talked about. I think I had orgasms with maybe 1 or 2 out of the 100 because I don't want to have an orgasm with a guy unless I feel he is like someone I would date and he could be there for me. Sometimes with my clients, if I get super turned on enough, I will put myself in that space where they can give me an orgasm or I give myself an orgasm. But the guys I hooked up with where it was personal, I don't want to have an orgasm with them on purpose. I don't want to. Because for me to look to you to give me an orgasm or to want that from you, for me to want that from you, I have to feel like you're a man who could provide for me. I don't know, that seems weird. Like, could I see myself dating you or married you? Are you a man who could handle me? Do you have a home that I can come to, that you would invite me to, that I could be a part of your life, like almost marriage material? Like, is this a man who would marry me and take care of me? And if I could see that, if I could feel that, his presence and his resources, physical, mental, and emotional, are there and directed at me, now I trust you enough to want to be close enough to you that I want to take up the space and the time and claim it to have an orgasm. I know, I'm just trying to explain things. Otherwise, I don't really want it. And a lot of those young hot guys I hooked up with, I didn't have an orgasm. And I kept thinking, why don't I want it? Why don't I think I deserve it or whatever? But I just didn't trust them enough. I just didn't want to do that with them. That's a higher level. So I don't need that. I'm more interested in how turned on can you get me? And I like a man who just wants, I do like a man who's hungry to fuck me rather than a guy who's hungry to go down on me. I like it when a man's just like, I just want to fuck that girl. It's like their sexual aggressiveness. But I also like it when a man's like, I really want to fuck you so badly, but I'm going to take care of you first. Depends. I don't know. I don't know how men do what they do. It's a mystery to me. It's a mystery to me, and it depends on the day and the situation for me. But I will say that no matter how good the sex is, when the guy's done, I'm glad we're done. And a lot of guys will be like, I'm hard again. You know, we're talking a little bit, and they're like, I'm hard again, but our time is up. And I'm like, what? We just finished. This was great. I'm glad this was so much fun. I'm glad you had me so turned on, but we're done. So I don't want to fuck again. But they're like, I'm turned on again. I'm ready to go again. I'm like, I'm glad our time is up because I'm ready to go have some lunch. The only time I want to keep fucking a guy again is if I have feelings for him. And I will tell you, and I don't know why I sometimes have feelings. In my 6 years in business as an escort, there was one gentleman, and this was like 3 years ago, where I felt this magnetic pull. Now, I'm not saying this is a healthy thing, it was just a thing that was there. And this guy was not someone I could date. He had a lot of issues, but there was something about him, I have no clue what it was, that made me just feel so like a magnet. He was like a magnet. And I was so turned on by him. I just wanted to keep fucking him and fucking him and fucking him, and I couldn't get enough. And he felt the same way about me. He actually had scheduled a sleepover. He actually ended up staying for a sleepover, actually. And I never saw him again after that. But he also was like in this completely different zone around me. And he was younger also. He was in his 20s. But that wasn't healthy. That didn't mean he was my soulmate or my twin flame or anything, because like I said, he had a lot of issues. He wasn't a man I would have wanted to date, and he was way too young. But with that man, I kept feeling this pull, like I wanted, and that pull came from my whole body. But if it's just a guy I had sex with, there's no reason I would want to have sex with him again. Like, that was really great. Bye. I don't, unless it's like, and I'm sure men feel the same way. Like, if a guy isn't turned on, he doesn't want to hang out with that girl anymore because he got off and now he just wants to get out of there. The only time a man will want to hang out with the girl after he's come, post nut clarity, is if she's interesting in some way. Some men like to stay and talk to me because I'm interesting. But that doesn't mean they want to date me or come back. They're just enjoying the moment, and then I never see them again. So there's a difference between I had a good time versus I really want to see you again. I don't know. I just like all these topics. I hope you found this video interesting. And please leave your comments. Thank you for watching.